Hey everyone, Beast here, and today I want to talk about a game that was recently released exclusively for PlayStation 3. It's the JRPG / dungeon crawler Hyperdimension Neptunia Mk. Okay, so this is a sequel, but the first one has nothing to do with the storyline. I would recommend playing the first one because it introduces most of the characters, establish relationships between the characters and all that stuff. But the 4 CPU candidates that are pretty much the main characters in this new one are not in the first one. Alright, with that being said, basically the premise of this game is you're on a nation called Game Industry, and there are 4 different land masses: Planet Neptune, La Station, Louis, and Leanbox. And in each landmass there is a CPU or console patron unit that pretty much governs over that landmass. So for Planet Neptune, it'd be Neptune, La Station is Noir, Louis is Blonde, and Leanbox is Vert. And so, they're also known as goddesses, by the way. These goddesses get their power from things called shares, which is also beliefs from the people in their nations. So, there's this evil goddess named R4, who has this group of minions called ASIC. The R4 Syndicate of International Crime, I think it was called. I can't remember directly. But basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to revive R4. And so they're getting people to start believing in R4 by giving out these chips that give you free games and stuff. And that's taking the shares away from the CPUs and is making them weaker and strengthening R4's followers, pretty much. So, excuse me. So pretty much, in the beginning of the game, the 4 CPUs and one of the CPU's little sisters, Nepgear, are fighting one of R4's minions called CFW Magic, and they are no match for her. So they all get tangled up in these weird tentacle cable things, and they're pretty much in custody for 3 years. That's when IF and Compa come in and find them there and try to rescue them. They use this thing called Sharasite, which is made from the beliefs of the people. It's this crystal thing, and they're only able to rescue Nepgear before they are chased out by another one of R4's minions called CFW Judge. And basically, for the rest of the game, you're trying to find out a way to save the CPUs, gain support from the CPU candidates and the different discs on each landmass. The purple disc, black disc, white disc, and green disc. To help you get power to be able to make enough Sharasite to release the CPUs. Now, some things I liked about this game. It was definitely an improvement from the first. I loved what they did. The world map, when you're going from different nations, in the first one you would have to walk through a dungeon just to get to one nation and back. And it was so tedious. But in this one you can just go all around the main menu in your little 8-bit avatar character, and it saves so much time. Also, the battle system. In the first one, it was a normal turn-based battle system where you would stand on one side, the enemies would be on the other side, and you just go back and forth attacking each other. But in this one, it's free roam. Well, I wouldn't say free roam because you're limited to a certain area that you can move each turn. But still, you can run around and attack the different enemies you want to, and stuff like that. Before you get into the battles, though, you were able to see the monsters in front of you, so it's not random encounter. It's kind of like Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2, where you can see the monsters and you can get like preemptive strikes, or you can get back attacked. It's just like that. Some things I didn't like about the game were the fact that you had to grind so early on, or at least I did. I'd say about the 3rd or 4th dungeon, I was getting my ass kicked so hard that I had to start grinding. And normally in RPGs like this, you wouldn't have to grind until later, towards the middle of the game. But I found myself grinding throughout the entire game. Also, when you're doing some battle sequences, like say you'd have to push triangle and square to do this kind of little combo thing, I noticed that some characters, they wait for about 3 or 4 seconds, just stand there like this, before they actually start attacking. I don't know if it's some kind of bug or if it's just the input delay from the wireless controller. I don't know, but I found that very odd. Oh yes, another improvement I forgot to mention. In the first one, all the cutscenes and the events were in 2D. In this one, I'd say about 85%, 85 to 90% of the cutscenes and all are in 3D, with the characters moving around and stuff. I think that was pretty cool. I'm a fan of the traditional 2D art style. I think it's very unique. But the 3D definitely, it was a refreshing taste. I definitely enjoyed that. Another good thing, the amount of characters. I think there's 13 characters that you can play. And, well, there's 2 DLC characters coming, but I'm not going to wait for them. But, basically, it's one of those RPGs where you don't have to have them actually participate in battle to get them experience, which I find really good. It saved me probably days of grinding just to get everybody to kind of balance out. So that was definitely a good inclusion. Another thing I liked was the quest system, where basically you could go to the Basilicom in the different nations and you could accept quests. And for doing those quests you get certain rewards like money, items. R4 would lose shares and some nations would gain shares from it. So it was really cool. It's better than having to do only one quest, one by one, like in the first game. You can only do one at a time, but in this one you can take a bunch, a whole list, and just complete them whenever. I definitely like that. So, with that being said, I think that this is a great improvement from the first game. If anyone played the first game and was iffy about getting this one, I highly recommend that you get it and play it. It is enjoyable. For the 36 hours I played, I enjoyed most of it. Even though about 20 hours of it was grinding, it doesn't matter. It was still pretty enjoyable. So, I think that on a scale of 1 to 10, Hyperdimension Neptunia 2, Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark 2 is an 8. And that's speaking as somebody who loved the first game. For somebody who didn't play the first game and it's kind of like, what the hell's going on here? I think you'll still enjoy it, even though you don't understand the characters very much. Like, all these characters are going to be new to you, but I still think you'd enjoy it. So as somebody who, looking from somebody's perspective who never played the first one, I think that I would give it a 7. Because it is very enjoyable. You're definitely getting the most bang for your buck, and it's only $50. It's not a full retail price, so it's definitely worth it.